everybody. Welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the show with powerful picks, sexy super fans, and that's really fun. I am your host, 27-year fantasy veteran, Greg Reifsteck.
And I am your co-host, Jenilee, a 12-year fantasy veteran. We are both Chicago Bears fans, and together we are the beauty
and the beast
of fantasy football experts.
So, we'll get to the Bears in a moment, but it's a pretty crappy week in fantasy as far as injuries, which generally we'll get to in a moment. But you also are dealing with bye weeks this week. This is that dreaded week of the season where you have 6 teams on bye. Cardinals, Ravens, Lions, Texans, Chiefs, and Seahawks.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised when I looked at that because most weeks there's 4 teams on a bye. Some weeks only 2.
Mm-hmm.
So this 6-week bye, or 6 teams on a bye this week
it's a killer.
Is not easy.
It's a killer, yeah. You should go. We have an app we'll talk about in a minute, but Prost has a really good column this week about the fact that you're basically drafting, you're taking players off the waiver wire just to fill a roster now because you're dealing with major injuries that Jenilee is going to talk about in a moment. You're dealing with 6 teams on bye. What players are left, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm kind of lucky because most of my buys are now getting to be over. Mm-hmm. And I haven't been stuck with too many injuries, knock on wood here.
Yeah.
So, it's not, this week isn't hurting me as much as probably a lot of people, but the last couple weeks have hurt me on the buys for sure. I've been in some close matchups and, I've ended up losing a couple weeks in a row.
Yeah, a few to me. But I'm going to get paid back, and that way I'm going to get paid back is I ended up beating Jenilee because you did have bye week trouble and had to put in some replacements. I now am hitting 2 of my teams. I have to literally yank 3 players off the waiver wire in each of them to try and piece a team together. And I'm relying, it's a gamble. You're gambling on people that are second stringers, third stringers, people that don't have proven, fantasy records this season, not proven fantasy points, and you're just plugging them in and praying. So, it's going to be an interesting week. Let's get on to the Bears. Jenilee was fortunate not to have seen this game.
I didn't see this one. I had to work, unfortunately, so
you didn't miss a damn thing. Actually, the Bears did well. We only lost 23-20 to the Vikings, and everything was looking great at the half.
I got through halftime, so I did watch the first half on Game Pass.
And it was looking good, and we were doing fine, and actually, can't blame you this week, Cutler, as much as I'd like to. Cutler put up good points. It's why he's going to be one of my beasting out picks coming up. And he didn't throw his usual pick in the 3rd or 4th quarter at the time of the game where he usually completely shits the bed. Unfortunately, Matt Forte got his knee injured and Jeremy Langford went in. And the key play of the game was a pass to him. And he did the usual, hey, I'm already down the field, and missed the ball. So that was that. So we ended up losing. Our defense played reasonably well. Fantasy-wise, you have Cutler, 211 yards and a touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey is back going strong, 116 yards and a touchdown. Of course, we let AP run insane for 103 yards. Thank goodness he didn't get a touchdown, too. And Stephon Diggs, 95 yards and a touchdown. So you didn't miss much.
Yeah, I definitely think our Bears defense is playing much, much better, as we've talked about.
Oh, yeah.
And, every week it seems like they're gelling a little more, getting better. We don't have the perfect personnel for a 3-4, so we're going to work on that for sure in the draft, I think, the next couple years. But the defense is for sure getting there. I'm definitely worried with our offense not being able to score many points. This is a pretty consistent thing throughout the season so far that, yes, Cutler's playing better. He's not throwing as many picks. But in the same token, the quarterback is the leader of your team, and he's also still not getting it done because he's still not getting the W's, and the offense is still not scoring points. Alshon's back. I mean, the only person he doesn't have right now is Kevin White. So, again, our offensive line is hurt, but there's still kind of no excuse for this, these games that we're scoring 21, 23 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been most of the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, early in the game, we were getting really frustrated over at Tin Horn Flats, our Bears bar in Burbank. We were joking, Louie and I at the bar were joking, we were bringing up John Shoup, our old offensive coordinator. And Shoup used to do this wonderful thing where you throw the ball and you dunk it off to the wide receiver and pray he could run. We did that 4 times. 4 times within like 6 plays.
Oh, yeah, the wide receiver screens, there's time and place for it, but you can't. No. We're doing so many wide receiver screens that it's just ridiculous. I mean, defenses are catching on to that, and they're reading it immediately.
Yeah, we nicknamed it, we started calling it the Shoup. He's throwing the Shoup. What the hell? We have Adam Gass. Put the gas on and let's go. Gase. Gase. Put the gas on. We'll be New York. So, unfortunately, I said Matt Forte got his knee dinged, and there were a lot of other injuries that you're putting up with this week.
Oh, for sure. So, it looks like Matt Forte, luckily it's an MCL, but he'll only be out maybe 2-3 weeks, hopefully at most. So, hopefully that's not too major. However, there's a lot of guys that went down for this season. One big one is running back Le'Veon Bell for the Steelers.
Yep.
He tore his MCL, so he is out for the season. Steve Smith Sr. is out for the season as well with the Achilles. Now he's saying he might consider to come back another year. I don't know. I think at his age, at this point, you should take that injury maybe as a sign that it is time to be done. It's unfortunate he didn't get a full last season in if he is going to retire.
Start taking those commentator lessons. We'll see you on Fox next season.
And we just heard that Keenan Allen is out for the season as well. So
with a kidney laceration.
Exactly.
Wow.
So there was a lot of big season-ending injuries. Yeah. There's injuries every week, but this week seemed to be just big in the fact that a lot of people went down. We also had one coach fired. Yes. So
Ken Wisenhunt
of the Tennessee Titans.
Shocker. Adios. When you go 1-6, That's
so now we have 2 teams, Miami and Tennessee, that already we're basically halfway into the season, and that's 2 teams that are already going to be looking for new head coaches, and the season's not even over. And you know how that goes. As soon as the season ends, a lot of people lose their jobs. Yeah.
So, and we're coming up on the trade deadline this week. As I mentioned, we have an app. Get the Big Balls app. Da-da-da. That's right. We've been giving you player updates like crazy, and we already have some of the, we already have the fact that, oh God, what's his name? Go look it up. Go look it up on the app. Go download it and find out all the player changes, all the new teams. We're right before the trade deadline.
Vernon Davis is over.
That's who, sorry. Vernon Davis is already on a new team on the Broncos. And a lot of people are going to be getting new homes, we think, within the next 48 hours. So by the time we post this, there's already going to be a ton of player updates on there. We have player updates on the app. Jenilee's favorite, our lineup questions are on there. You just hit the tab. After you download the app, you can get it at the Google Play Store or on the Apple Store. What else do we have on there?
We also have Pro's blog and Cash's blog, of course. And then we have all of our links to our social media as well. There's some of our social media. BigBallsFantasyFootball.com is our official website. And then you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, tweet us at BigBallsFBall. Of course, you can do all that stuff. And you can watch our show straight from the app. So I've already had people tell me that they love the app, that it's really cool. We've gotten some great emails about it.
We have.
And, I personally use it when I'm working a lot and I'm busy and I can't go see everything as it happens.
She watches for me to post.
Exactly.
And
I'll go on the app and check it out. So, it's a great thing to have.
And we have new photographs up on BigBallsFantasyFootball.com thanks to Jessica Stomp's photography. Look her up on Facebook. Excellent new pictures, all the new pictures you've been seeing on our Facebook page over there. We're on the Instagram. You can tweet us at BigBallsFBall. We're all over the place. So this week, everybody, good luck. And who's going first?
I'm going first this week, so let's get it started.
Let's go.
I need a real man.
everyone, and welcome to week 9 of my Real Men segment. I hope everyone is doing well so far in their fantasy leagues. Those fantasy playoffs are going to sneak up on us, so you need to be winning every week. I have 2 go hard picks for you and 2 go soft picks for you. We already talked about that there's 6 teams on a bye this week, so this is a challenging week for your lineup. Let me get right into it. My first go hard pick this week is quarterback Jameis Winston of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is playing the Giants this week, and I know he's a rookie quarterback. He hasn't had the best season so far, but he hasn't had the worst season either. Right now, he has not thrown an interception in 3 weeks. I was looking at that, and I really like that because he started off this season. He struggled a little bit. He was throwing a lot of interceptions, but he hasn't thrown one in 3 weeks, so I like that. He also could have his tight end back. He should be back very soon, maybe this week, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. And they had good chemistry the first couple weeks before he got injured. He, of course, has Mike Evans over there, and we're unsure if Vincent Jackson will be back this week as well. But Jameis Winston has been getting it done despite the injuries. And part of the reason he's been getting it done is because they have really gotten the running game going. I have Doug Martin on one of my teams, and it seems like Dougie is back. So I know Doug Martin didn't do as well last week, but he has pretty much been blowing it up. So that is really helping Winston out. As ever since they've had the running game going, Winston has been playing better and not throwing as many interceptions because he can lean on that. And like I said, they're playing the Giants this week. This is a phenomenal matchup. The Giants have allowed 3 300-yard passing games so far this season. And of course, Breeze threw for over 500 yards and 7 touchdowns against them last week. Now, I'm not going to tell you Winston's going to get you 7 touchdowns, but he should definitely be able to get you 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. It should be a solid performance by him. So go ahead, pick him up and get him in your lineup. Now, my second go hard this week is one of my favorite guys. I still wish we had him in Chicago. Is tight end Greg Olsen of the Panthers. And this is a guy that he's just a solid guy. I don't know why you would ever sit him, but you definitely need to play him this week. They're playing Green Bay, so this is going to be a very interesting matchup. First off, he is targeted the most on the team out of anyone because, as we know, the Panthers really don't have any outstanding wide receivers. Poor Cam, once again, is just working with what he has, so he's throwing the ball all the time to Greg Olsen, and Greg Olsen is catching a lot of those, so that is always a good thing in your PPR league. He is a top 5 tight end. He has 518 yards on the season and 4 touchdowns. I think he can get in the end zone this week against the Green Bay Packers. Martellus Bennett, Kelsey, and Gates all had very good weeks against Green Bay. So it seems like the better tight ends are having very good weeks against Green Bay's defense. And this is just a guy that, again, you shouldn't ever sit him, but he needs to be in your lineup this week for sure. Now let me move it on to my go softs. These are the guys that aren't going to get you as many points, so beware. You might not want to put them in this week. But my first go soft, I know I had to do it, is quarterback Andrew Luck, and he is playing Denver's defense. You know, it's been a sad year for Luck. I thought he would have a year similar to last year and just be blowing up the fantasy numbers, and he has been struggling. Right now, he is only completing 54.9% of his passes. If you look around the league, all the top quarterbacks are completing 65% and more of their passes. So he is way, way below that. And he's had a lot of injuries, let's just face it. He had the shoulder injury, which who knows could still be bothering him. Now we found out that he was playing with cracked ribs. It just seems like he's not healthy, and it's definitely affecting him this season. He has been sacked 14 times, so his offensive line is doing okay, but not great by any means. And Denver leads the league in sacks. They have 29 sacks. And he's thrown 12 interceptions, which is the most in the league. So as we saw, Denver made Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable in the pocket. When Luck is uncomfortable in the pocket, he makes mistakes. He throws those interceptions. This is just not a good week to play him. And I know it's hard not to play him, but this is just not the week it's going to happen. I'm probably going to even sit T.Y. Hilton because of this matchup. So sorry, Andrew Luck, but this is not going to be fun, I don't think. And my last go soft for this week is, any 49ers player. I know I did not say anyone specific on this one, but that is because this team is a complete mess. We just found out that Kaepernick is going to be benched, and Blaine Gabbert, yes, Blaine Gabbert, who used to play for the Jacksonville Jaguars, is going to be the 49ers starting quarterback. I don't even know. That team is just so bad. I think they're just trying to change things up, and I think at this point their head coach is just trying to hope that he has a job for next season. They have so many injuries. Carlos Hyde has a foot injury. Reggie Bush tore his MCL, so he's out for the season. That was another injury that just happened. Bolden is dealing with the hamstring. They just traded Vernon Davis to the Broncos. So this is just a disaster. They play Atlanta this week, and who knows, Carlos Hyde might have to run despite the foot injury because even their third string is injured. Their third string running back is injured, so Hyde might have to play. Atlanta only gives up 83 rushing yards per game, so Atlanta is very good against the run. And Atlanta has only given up 9 passing touchdowns, and Atlanta has 8 interceptions on the season so far. So again, this is not going to be an easy matchup for Blaine Gabbert either. Kaepernick was sacked 28 times, which is the second most in the league. So that offensive line is not performing very well. They weren't giving Kaepernick time. I'm sure Blaine Gabbert's not going to have a lot of time back there. So I just see this being a disaster for all of the 49ers players. But hey, if you want to pick up Atlanta's defense, that might be a good pickup. So there you go. There are my go hards and go softs for week 9. And Greg, of course, has his beasting out picks for you this week.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Balls Fantasy Football. It's Greg the Beast with your beasting out picks for this week. The Beauty and the Beast are going to be on the road this week. That's right, here in week 9, we are going to go see our beloved Chicago Bears take on the San Diego Chargers down in San Diego. We're here in wonderful Hollywood, and we're going to go trek on down there and have a great time at the game. And come out and check us out. Who knows, you might find us tailgating. Going to be basically any San Diego game that has people from the East ends up turning out to be a home game for that team. Every single time the Bears score, we're going to hear more Bears fans cheer than Chargers fans. So it's going to be a great time. Come on out and check out the game if you're in the area. That leads us right into my first pick. We're going to have 2 go hards and 2 go softs for you this week. 2 picks that are going to get you a lot of points. 2 picks that might not get you as many points. My first go hard is Jay Cutler, of course. And I know, you're like, well, the Bears aren't playing very well. Actually, he has been interception, not free, but has been interception low this season. Also, I always think it's fun to mix a little bit of fantasy and reality. It's going to be great to go to the game. And since my other quarterback is on a bye and Cutler was on the waiver wire, I said, what the hell? Since he's been doing well, I'm going to at least get to watch him get my fantasy points live. So week 5 versus the Raiders, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Jenilee always is pointing that out. The touchdown to interception ratio is really good there. Week 6 versus the Lions, 353 yards. That helped get rid of that 1 interception, 1 touchdown, put you over the 350 mark. That, of course, was a game that went into overtime, but hell, you still got those yards. They all count. And then last week, as I said in the intro, week 8 versus the Vikings, 211 yards and 1 touchdown, but clean on the picks. So that always helps you out. I think he's going to hopefully do well. They had 12 injuries on the Chargers this week. A few of them on defense, Manti Te'o being one of them. Their defense is going to be a little bit depleted. They're going to be off kilter. I actually think our Bears are going to win. Score prediction right now, what the hell? Let's say 21-14 and get it done with. But hey, I think fantasy-wise, the Bears are going to do great. And the other great thing is, well, Forte's been doing well with that. Unfortunately, we're going to be without Matt Forte, but Jeremy Langford has proven he can run the ball. As long as he doesn't drop any important passes like he did this week, we should be great. So gamble a little bit, put Jay Cutler in your lineup this week. My next go hard is Stephon Diggs over on the Vikings, and got to watch him run wild and catch a ton of passes on our Bears defense last week. He just had a spectacular week. He's been having a really big run because he's just turned into Bridgewater's target guy. Terry Bridgewater's been throwing a lot of targets to him, and look at these numbers. This is crazy. Week 6 versus the Chiefs, 7 receptions, 9 targets, 129 yards. Targets, of course, in PPR are extremely important. Week 7 versus the Lions, 1 touchdown, 6 receptions, 9 targets, again, 108 yards. Again, getting you over the 100-yard mark, getting you your bonus. And then Week 8 versus the Bears last week, he got 1 touchdown, 6 receptions, 12 targets. Are you kidding me? He's Bridgewater's guy. 95 yards, fell short of the 100, but he got you that touchdown. Tons and tons of points. You got to get Stephon Diggs off of the waiver wire. I actually saw him on waiver wire. I have a bid in for him. Maybe I'll get him. I couldn't believe he was sitting out there. Most smart people already have picked him up and have realized he's turned into a scoring machine. Get him in for week 9. So let's get on to my go softs. Now, this is going to be an intriguing and interesting one because, yes, Dez Bryant, I know he was injured, and now you finally got to play him. Well, unfortunately, you do not have him with Tony Romo. And I know, you're like drooling. Hey, this week he's up against the Eagles defense, who are not very good up against the pass. Eagles have given up the 5th most points to wide receivers. Here's the deal. Matt Castle is the quarterback. He did not do well getting him the ball last week, and I don't think Castle's going to do very well getting the ball to him in the next few weeks. 6.23 yards per attempt for Castle. That's freaking horrible. Week 7, 227 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Ick. No. That's just killing any of the yards that you got over there. Week 8, 97 yards and no touchdowns. That was last week with Dez Bryant in the lineup. I wouldn't put Dez in. I know it's really tempting, but I would keep him out. I'd try and get somebody else. I mean, if you really have to play him, of course you do. We all love playing big-name wide receivers, but I just don't think you're going to get a lot of points out of him this week, and you didn't get a lot out of him last week either. My go soft, my final one, I am taking a page out of what Jenilee just said in her segment. She said any Niners player. I am saying any Packers wide receiver. That's right. Last week, I told you not to play Aaron Rodgers, and you should have believed me because I got forced to play him because there weren't any other quarterbacks on the waiver wire worth taking. I ended up getting 6.93 points out of Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me with all those people out there? But it's another crappy defensive matchup this week. You have Aaron Rodgers up against the Carolina defense, who have just been decimating quarterbacks, decimating offenses. 5th fewest points to wide receivers. Last week versus the Broncos, the Packers did horribly, did really bad. Cobb was the top receiver, 6 receptions for 27 yards, and Devontae Adams, I think, got 1 reception for 8 yards. It was just horrible. When Aaron Rodgers is being hurried, when Aaron Rodgers has a defense up his butt and is getting swarmed, he isn't going to put up points for you, and neither are their wide receivers. And the worst part is, we all know that he likes to pass. He picks 1 wide receiver a game, and it's like you're playing in Vegas. Is it going to be Cobb this week? Is it going to be Devontae Adams this week? When Jordy Nelson was in, was it going to be him? And he's not even in the lineup anymore. So I would just avoid the Packers altogether right now and get somebody else in this week if you have any of the wide receivers on the Packers. So that's our show. Thank you very much for watching. Again, go see us in San Diego. We're going to have a lot of footage. We're going to do a lot of tailgating. We're going to have a lot of fun. And don't forget to go onto our app. Again, you can get on the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store, and that'll keep you in on our updates and our push notifications, so you are able to get the right players into your lineup, and you're not putting in any injured or ineligible or inactive players. So thank you for watching this week, and good luck in week 9.